Hi, this is Rich Spencer, and this is your January edition of the Life Lessons vlog. Life lessons pertain to lessons of love, inspiration, faith, and encouragement. And today's lesson is about faith. The title, very simple. If God promised it, He'll provide it. In Hebrews, the Bible teaches us that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. Now, it's very important because we can apply that to everything we do in our daily lives. Substance of things hoped for, things we want, things we desire. Could be in our employment, could be running our own business, could be in family, relationships, friendships, wherever it may be, ministry, things we hope for. And the evidence of things unseen is, of course, where that faith comes in. First thing about faith is we have to make sure that we're being obedient and we're doing what God calls us to do. Now, we can talk about things we want, things that God promised and provide, but in order to know if God promised something to you, you have to communicate with Him, and you also have to realize if that is your call or not. Your call is, of course, going to be something that is surfaced around your gifts, your unique talents, your abilities, things that God anointed you to do, sometimes better than others. You have to realize that if it's your gift, then God calls you to use it. And using that gift is being obedient and doing God's will. Now, a lot of things that we want, so that we do out of desires, out of our own heart. But of course, we want to make sure our desires are what God has for us. The important things that He has in our life are the things, of course, that we will be successful in. So we talk about if God promised that He'll provide it. If there's anything that you realize that God's given you the anointing for, it could be to start your own business, which requires you to walk out on faith, maybe to leave a comfortable job. It could be in your family. It could be in other relationships, friendships, in your ministry. If God called you to it, then He will give you the provision in order for you to accomplish it. Very, very important things to remember. Communicate with God. Make sure you are following His will, not your own will. Another thing that's very important to remember, that as you wait on God, it requires patience. Patience is a very key word in this. Think about it. God promised you something. In that promise, the provision is somewhere, but you have to wait for it. Now, God, of course, gives us three answers. And as a parent, I can appreciate this. The first answer is yes. This is for you. Second answer is no. And the third answer is often wait. Wait requires you to wait patiently. Not impatiently, but patiently. And by waiting patiently, you're being obedient, you're doing your due diligence, you're working hard. You're doing what God has called you to do and walking in the way He'd have you to walk. So when He's ready to provide you what He has for you, you're ready to receive it. The last and final thing I want to talk about, of course, in terms of communicating with God, waiting patiently, the last thing is, in order to receive that item, you may have to remove some other things. God promised you something. He's going to provide it. But sometimes our plates are so full with so many things that we have going on that God is ready to prepare us for something and give us something, but we have no room for it. So the last thing is, it may require you to move some other things off of your plate, out of your life, and that may be people, that may be places, and of course it may be things. As you remove those things, you make room for what God has for you. And that blessing that He promised you will certainly be on the way. Be blessed and be encouraged. Until we meet again.